Hi, it's Jeremy, vicar at St Georges and St Thomas's Churches in Hyde. What I'm doing now is I'm just going to set myself a challenge and see if I can explain the Bible and the Christian faith in the time it takes to walk around the church building. So here goes, we'll see if we can do it. All right, off we go. Okay. Well, most of you will know that the Bible divides neatly into two parts, the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament is the part before Jesus, and the New Testament is the part from Jesus onwards up to the present day. So I'm going to look at it in 5 stages. The first stage is this, the book of Genesis, chapters 1 to 3. Okay, this is where God made everything. He made the universe and then he made people. But sadly, in chapter 3, people turned away from God, turned their backs on him. So the thing to remember here is that God made everything. It was all intentional, it was all on purpose. But we turned our back on him. And the rest of the Bible, if you like, is the story of God trying to get back in fellowship, in union with people. Okay, so that's stage number 1. Stage number 2 is this. Okay, God picks out a man called Abraham. Abraham becomes a family. The family becomes a tribe. They go and live in Egypt. The tribe then becomes a nation in Egypt. God calls them out of Egypt by a man called Moses. Moses leads the people through the desert. And while in the desert, God gives them laws and rules to live by. Okay? And the idea being that if you break the laws, if you don't keep the laws, then you have to sacrifice to get right with God again. It's a fairly simple system, and the people live by it as best they can as they move into the promised land. Then we come to stage 3, because the people living in the land decide they want a king. Okay? It's not enough just to have God, they need a king as well. So stage 3 of the Bible follows the history of Israel as a nation, and the kings and everything becomes a political issue. All right, it's all about politics. The nation's invaded, people are taken away into captivity. It's not a particularly good time. But there's 2 things I'd like to take from this period which are very important. First is the book of Psalms. Many of us will know the Psalms. Psalm 23, the Lord's my shepherd. Psalm 25, unto you I lift my praise. These are all psalms which express human feelings towards God. The other thing that comes out of this period is prophecy. God raises up prophets like Jeremiah, Isaiah, etc. to speak to the people directly when they're not listening, when they're too busy preoccupied with the politics and the kings and everything else and material things. He raised up prophets. And one of the things that the prophets said again and again is that God is sending a Messiah to the nation. Somebody's coming who's going to save the people. It's going to be a new situation. And then, of course, we get to stage 4, which is Jesus. Okay, Jesus just seems to answer all these prophecies. Could he be the Messiah? Somebody born of woman and of God. Somebody with all these powers to heal, to do miracles. But what's more amazing about Jesus is not just what he does, which is amazing enough, but it's what he says. Jesus says to people, okay, you've got the law. We can sum that up in a couple of things. We can sum it up as saying, love God and love other people. Okay? And the other thing that's amazing about Jesus, he says, remember the sacrifices? Remember all the things you had to do to get right with God? Well, now I am your sacrifice. And from the minute Jesus' blood hit the ground when he died on the cross, he became our sacrifice to deal with all the sins, all the things that are wrong in our lives. So then you have Jesus, and finally you move into the last stage, which is the birth of the church. The church is born as Jesus dies and rises again and commissions his followers to keep on doing what he was doing, the miracles, the teaching, and living in this new life through Jesus' sacrifice and through the Holy Spirit which Jesus gives to his church. So we end up, as we'd started really, at the front of the church, we end up with God back in relationship with people, the people he created, through what Jesus did. So that's the Bible, and that's our faith. We believe in a Jesus who saved us. We believe in Holy Spirit who transforms us miraculously to be like Jesus. So I hope that was interesting, and I managed to get all the way around the church while telling you it. So see you soon. Take care. Bye.